Within a few months, we've had two films based on true stories about oil-slicked penguins being rescued and becoming friends with their saviors. And now they are both available for streaming. So let's compare My Penguin Friend with The Penguin Lessons. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie reviews for two very similar titled movies, similar in plot as well, but certainly some differences too. And we'll get into sort of the nitty gritty there. But you can see both of these now on streamers. My Penguin Friend is available on Hulu, and The Penguin Lessons is available on Netflix. And both of these based on true events in which a gentleman is rescuing an oil-slicked penguin. The penguin becomes sort of best friends with this person, the protagonist of our story, and it goes from there. One of them, a bit more current, My Penguin Friend, is based on a story that went viral in 2016, and The Penguin Lessons takes place actually in the 70s. But we'll talk about the similarities and the differences of these movies in just a second. First, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a subscriber already for Dan Reviews It, thank you so much for that. I love it when you guys return and check out my content. But if you are not, please consider subscribing. Click the notification bell, too, because I try to post just about every day, so you get those alerts when you click that. And, of course, liking this video, commenting below, and sharing on your socials. That helps the channel out tremendously, and I certainly do appreciate that as well. All right, so we have My Penguin Friend, starring Jean Reno, and this was directed by David Sherman, who really has not done a whole lot in terms of feature films. This is, I guess, probably his biggest one to date. And then The Penguin Lessons, directed by Peter Cattaneo. And he only directs like one movie every so many years, but he directed this wonderful movie called The Full Monty from the 1990s, and I just saw that one a few years ago on its, I guess it was the 20th anniversary, and did a review with my old buddy Joe for that. And he's directed a couple of movies since, but not really too much. He does dabble in TV a bit as well, mostly in England, but you have Steve Coogan in this one playing our sort of hero saving the penguin. So first and foremost, both of these films use real penguins. Yes, there are some CGI moments, especially, some of the more harrowing moments. But for the most part, both of these films employ real penguins, which I think gives it some authenticity. A lot of movies are using CGI, especially for animals and stuff. They don't want to sort of catch heat for maybe mistreating the animals or whatever. But in movies like this, you have people from PETA on site to, make sure that no animals are harmed and all that. And there's even, a disclaimer like in the credits towards the end with all of the movies like this where there are real animals in use. So the authenticity here is great to use the real penguins. So the stories differ a little bit, but to be honest, not by much. At least the basic conceit of the penguin stuff. And that's sort of where I think My Penguin Friend, the Jean Reno movie, goes a little bit awry because it is so incredibly safe. It's, a family-friendly movie, and really, I mean, they're kind of both family-friendly, but I would say this one is, like, ripped right out of the, like Disney Playbook and Hallmark Channel and all that. I mean, this is so safe and family-friendly. I actually found it quite boring. Now, it is beautiful to look at. This takes place in, is it in Brazil? Yes. He's a Brazilian fisherman, and so the scenery is gorgeous. Yeah, for sure. And obviously, seeing this cute penguin coming back to visit his old friend played by Jean Reno, every so often and having them reconnect. And it's adorable and it's cute. But I just have to throw it out there. It's so safe that it actually, for me, was fairly boring. Now, heading to The Penguin Lessons, first of all, look, I like Steve Coogan. I'm a Coogan fan, more so than Jean Reno for sure. And so I think he had the right sort of attitude for this character, because this is not a super likable guy. In fact, he doesn't really want to have anything to do with the penguin. Even after rescuing him, he sort of says, "Oh no, no, that's not mine." But then his softer nature takes over, and he ends up kind of taking him in a little bit. But he is a teacher, and so he uses the penguin to entertain his class and then sort of hold their attention and give them certain lessons using the penguin as as a prop, in his lessons or whatever, and the kids fall in love with him and blah blah blah. So there's that, which is already, I think, more interesting than My Penguin Friend. But there is this side plot. I'm not positive it always works, but it's certainly timely today, even though this took place in the 70s. But there are people being taken on the streets without really much of a warning. And he witnesses someone he knows being taken. And so part of the movie is attempting to get this person back. And the penguin, is still, part of his life. Not necessarily sure they're a major part of that plot component, but it's certainly part of something that character played by Coogan is going through. And yes, very, very timely based on, some things that are happening right now. This movie was made probably 2 years ago, so hard to say what, if they had anything specific in mind to put us in present day. But this takes place in the 70s, and obviously we're seeing similar things happen. But I found both plots, really, for the Penguin Lessons to be extraordinarily more interesting than My Penguin Friend. And it's a bummer because, yes, it's visually, it's appealing, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it except that it is just so safe. It's so safe it becomes sterile. So for me, the superior movie for sure is The Penguin Lessons. But look, it's got heart to it. It's funny. The dramatic scenes really, really pack a punch. I'm not positive that the storylines overlap as maybe they wanted them to, but I was engaged with both of them fairly equally. So that even the stuff without the penguin was interesting to me as well. So, I think that speaks to the quality of the film, whereas I was kind of bored with the other. So I leave My Penguin Friend with a C, and you can stream that one, like I said, on Hulu. And The Penguin Lessons gets a B plus, and you can stream that, like I said, on Netflix. But check these ones out if you're a penguin fan. At least you'll see cute penguins the whole time. So, all right, thank you for watching Dave Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.